So IGN, I think, have just reviewed Manor Lords. Okay, well, the early access trailer's out, but I think that they actually did... Okay, well, they've done a tutorial how to start it. Right, we're going to check that out as well. Let's load that bad boy up.
Trading.
But, okay, calm down, mate. But I think they did a full review as well. Maybe it's on their homepage. And I just kind of want to see what their take on it is. Because it is kind of insane. Like, such a big platform. And, well, and now Manor Lords is getting all this attention. Okay, here's their early access review. Oh, they've done a lot of videos on Manor Lords. I guess they're getting in on the hype as well.
Gazing out across my lively medieval burg in Manor Lords, I see great promise. The detailed building
Their village is actually beautiful. Mine never look this good. They don't even look close. But hey ho.
I see great promise.
We move on.
Detailed buildings, villagers, and landscapes are always pleasant to look upon. The complex, rewarding.
I think that is one of the most important parts and why Manor Lords is doing so well. Just because of how detailed and beautiful it looks. I mean, even in this scene, right? Okay, we're in a really compressed YouTube video. But when it rains, the fields, they get wet, they get muddy, which makes the carts and the ox get muddy. It is actually gorgeous. And everyone has their own little animations of doing everything. And it's just something that I haven't really seen in many games before.
Remind me that each bloody clash is costing someone a son or a husband. But for all its potential,
see, this looks beautiful. I love the being able to walk around your own village because you can spend ages working and actually building up these little towns. And then you can hit the view button and you can become this guy with the cool floppy cape and you could actually walk around. I don't know why more games don't have that. It's such a cool aspect. Also, these, I guess, vegetable patches with cabbages and carrots and things like them, such a hack, such a good hack. Like, I've been absolutely spamming them everywhere, especially if you're in a place that doesn't have like good fertile land. These are such a useful thing to be able to use because it means that everybody that lives within this area can also grow their own food, so they don't have to rely on the big pool, and excess gets put in that extra pool as well. Okay, IGN, let's see what your thoughts are on the Manor Lords early access.
Plenty of fun to be had in this initial release of Manor Lords. The freedom to lay out bustling
these level 3 buildings, they look so much nicer than my level 3 buildings.
Work on sprawling farms and in smoky backyard workshops is a joyful and generally well-paced experience. The road tool is a little fiddly for my liking, but laying out custom lots and snapping everything together dynamically at the corner.
This is the really nice part. When you're building plots, being able to decide how many plots you want in a certain area, and also if you want extensions to put things like those vegetable patches in. That is one of the nicer touches that many games don't do. You can also, if you put them wide enough, have like little extensions so you can have more population to them. Something that hasn't been done in too many games before. One thing though that I have noticed while playing Manor Lords is that there are a few bugs with this new system. And I think that might be one of the reasons that not many people have tried this before. But actually, when you're placing down these 4 corners in order to distinguish where you want to have your burgage plots or your homes, sometimes it will just say no. It won't let you build there. And it won't tell you why. There's got to be a reason. But at the moment, I guess it's classed as a bug if it doesn't tell you exactly why you can't build there.
Makes it easy to craft settlements that look and feel cohesive and realistic.
See, there. Oh, I need to go back. I've missed it. I'm just trying to get a good... There we go. So this area here, that's where the actual house is going to go. This is the extension if you want an extra family in there to grow your population. And this is the back door, or the back of the area where you can put things like your farms. You can put things like bakeries if you're upgraded, so on and so forth. Now, with things like chicken coops and goat pens... And of course, if it's you turn it into a blacksmith or a Fletcher shop, the size of this extension doesn't matter. But if it's like a cabbage patch, you can actually make them really long and really wide, these extensions, and they'll actually put bigger patches and bigger fields on there. To some extent, because they won't have full time to plant everything, because they're just families and not full farms.
Commerce into the places where people actually live. That's much more accurate to the era Manor Lords is trying to capture than having massive commercial buildings everyone works at. I get this cozy, familiar feeling when I zoom in and see that this is where the town blacksmith lives, and just across the way, Herman and Agnes brew beer for the live.
It does feel a bit like that. It does feel like you have everybody that's integrated within this village. Now, this can have some advantages and disadvantages. It does completely immerse you within it. But one of the big issues are you'll lose a lot of where your important buildings are. Let's say your blacksmith, your Fletcher's shop, your bakery. They look a lot like the other places. And if they're buried within the other houses, especially when you've got a big village, trying to actually find where they are is pretty tricky. So I've tried to separate them out and make my industry in one area and then make my houses in another area, or at least put the industry parts on the edge of the little housing
About the
plots.
sound design and visual presentation is exceptional. Rainstorms patter and boom, leaving roads slick and strewn with puddles.
Also, I saw this really funny video today. If we head on to, I still type in Twitter to go onto X. I'm not going to type in X to go onto it. Like I'm just not going to do it. If we go into the Manorlords Twitter, actually maybe it was the Hooded Horse one, who are the publishers of Manorlords. They posted this really cool. Well, it was a meme, but it did show off some of the. Here we go. It showed off some of the cool features that these are wandering travelers, so they will all be around, and these will be your villages and things like that if they're, trading or taking stuff from time and places. Now, this is a really cool reaction. So this is a meme, bear with it, but it does show that the AI will react to each other. So here we have a bandit army coming in, and this guy who was just minding his own business, when he sees them, they actually run away. And I never noticed that when I was playing. I'd never really noticed that. That's so cool.
Winter blankets everything in a sparkling frost. The animations for something as simple as getting water from a well are grounded and meticulously detailed. In a way that
You can even see the water filling up in the bucket and then it changing to another bucket. It's so much more detailed than any other city builder as well.
Not without some weirdness. For one thing, you'll always be this exact guy, no matter which portrait you chose for your ruler during setup. And for another, the collision detection on buildings.
Yeah, there's no collision detection. You can just walk through most things.
Open gate features
Or you can't walk through things that you should be able to. There you go.
Right through without a care, like a sacrilegious ghost.
Oh, I didn't realize you could even walk through into the building itself.
Are marked as work in progress in the UI, and that's totally fine. Manor Lords is consistently upfront about what's finished and what isn't.
That's another thing. I think a lot of people are buying into the hype for this, not realizing that it is an early access game and there isn't a ton of content to it. Oh, by the way, I haven't mentioned already, if you want to click the link in the description, you can actually pick up Manor Lords, but be aware that it is currently in early access, and there are a lot of features that are either work in progress or just aren't in there and not finished or quite buggy. The visit mode, one of them. I have never seen that before.
This horrifying sheep that looks like it got lost on the way to a John.
It's like the skin texture has just been left on its own and then everything else is gone. There's no animation attached to it.
Movie. Again, stuff like this doesn't ruin the experience.
Oh, look at the face.
But it does remind me that we're very early
The shepherds are just standing there like, I don't know what's going on here. I have no idea what's going on here.
You can even specialize a settlement in making money and trade for most of your material.
You can, however, this has somewhat changed on the actual release. Now, there is, I guess, market caps, so you can't just trade one resource forever and gain a load of money. For example, making warbows is very easy, especially at the start, and you can just trade them forever. I mean, even here, you can see they've got almost 400 warbows, and we've got 148 population, so we've been playing for a couple of hours. Yeah, you can't really do that anymore. You can trade, but if you sell too much, the price and what you actually gain from it goes down and down and down. So that's kind of a balancing feature that I think Slavic Magic added in. There's also one of the most OP perks ever, by the way, which is you can see on the right-hand side here how much money it's cost to open a trade route. So yeah, I could trade helmets, but it cost me 288 coins in order to unlock that. Now, there is a development point that you can get where every trade route costs 25 coins, which I think is OP as hell. It's quite a useful one to get, but I don't know if it's too overpowered.
I couldn't for the life of me find a way to view a list of all available families and where they were assigned to. This is a complex management.
That is one thing I would like it to add in, because if you see at the top, it's got a Manor Lords review there. Anyway, there's a little wooden hammer there that basically tells you which families aren't assigned to jobs. And those families will work in construction for you. I wish there was a way to see, to hover over that, and then you could see which families are constructing and what they're constructing at what times. Because you can set priorities for them to work on something before something else, like build the church before you build this house sort of thing. But you can't live track where they're doing and what they're doing. So sometimes it can be a little bit infuriating when something's just not being built and you don't have like a live update of where they are.
Is getting wrecked by bandits before you have the resources to build a full militia. And it seems like there's really no recovering from this. On one save file, 2 of the bandits just stuck around and kept burning things forever, even after several minutes on the fastest game speed, so I couldn't rebuild, but I also never got a game over.
Okay, I'm going to be honest, that's kind of on you there. You get given weapons before the first group of bandits ever come. How are you not beating them back? They are the first wave of bandits is almost impossible to lose. Oh, hold on. Oh, it does say so. In the bottom left, it's got the raiders near thing, which is actually the first mission where raiders come in, and you get given the weapons just before that. So maybe these were just some bandits that accidentally walked into the area, and then the AI caught on to your villagers, which I don't think is supposed to happen, because you're right, you don't have the stuff to prepare for that. I've never seen that before, though. That is crazy.
Eventually, by building a manor, an elite cadre of men-at-arms can be...
Oh, they're so cool. They look so cool. Although you can basically, there's not really much limits to them, so you can just, if you've got enough money in your treasury, just upgrade them to hell, and you can demolish through any other armies. Because at the moment, the enemy armies, bandits can be destroyed by just your militia, and the enemy just hire mercenaries pretty much, and they're mostly light mercenaries. So if you have a retinue, you can demolish through them. The battles are quite easy at this point in time. They have, however, I think, recently just nerfed archers. I'm pretty sure. If we check out Manor Lords. Here we go. So I'm hearing some early reports about archers being ineffective. That was a risky last-minute balancing change because they're reported being OP. I don't think they were ever OP. I mean, interesting. I don't think that was the case, but hey ho. I guess that was a decision that was made.
Management required in battle. The issue is, I hardly ever needed to make much use of these systems in the current build. Your ultimate adversary, that nasty Baron across the way, was never able to put together an army that could compete with one even a fair-sized town of my own could muster. Random bandits become almost a joke to deal with.
They are just not difficult at all. There is no difficulty in the battles.
Taking enough casualties to affect my economy much in the...
That as well. It's not just that you'll win every battle, but you'll probably lose a max of 2 or 3 guys. And that's if you're overwhelmed. So the whole point of the game using villages and population in order to be militia and defend is kind of null, because you don't lose enough guys for it to have an economical impact in the long run, which I think is something that really needs to be balanced and changed, or at least have a mode where it is a bit more hardcore and you do actually end up losing a lot of guys. Because I don't know, if you're a village in militia, you're not going to be good at fighting. You've just been thrust a spear. So bandits are most likely going to be way better than you, so you need to outnumber them.
Seems far too easy. It left me simply waiting around to generate enough influence to claim more of my rivals.
Yep. Endgame, if you want to get to the last region, I spent about 4 hours just waiting to gain enough influence. It was really annoying. Because I could win the game if I wanted to. I had the biggest army, I had the most money, but didn't have enough influence. And I couldn't because no bandits were coming onto the field.
I will warn you of this. There's a tax office that simply doesn't do anything. You can build walls and towers, but everything enclosed by them becomes considered part of the blueprint of the manor.
And they become useless. You can't use them.
From building anything else in that area ever again. So you can theoretically wall off your whole settlement, but God's forbid,
you know what? I think in general, like Manor Lords is a fantastic game, but with it, because of the small development team and just the way it was made, I think there are a lot of issues that do need to be ironed out. And hopefully that will be something that comes pretty soon. But yeah, I think they've done a fantastic job with it so far.